Hello Year 2, this video is going to be about comparing and ordering lengths, something that you've been set for your home learning this week. I'm going to go through some of the slides with you just to make sure that you're really confident in what you're doing. Okay, so the aim was to compare and order lengths using those symbols, and we're going to talk about those in a little while. Okay, so to start with, you were asked which was the longest container and which was the shortest. So it's really important that you know what those words mean. So have a little think. So the longest ones are going to be the biggest ones, aren't they? I want you to have a look at those numbers there and see if you can first of all identify which one is the longest. If you said 12 metres, you were right. So the M here on the screen, that stands for metres. So these boxes are being measured in metres. So if we know that 12 metres is the longest container, which is the shortest? And if you've said 1 metre, you are correct. Well done. So this question here is asking you to order them from the shortest to the longest. So we've said that 1 metre, this one here, is the shortest, and 12 metres, this one here, is the longest. So I want you to have a go starting at 1 metre to write those boxes in order from the shortest to the longest. Have a go, pause your video, write it down, and then I'll go through the answers with you. Okay, so we already identified that 1 metre was the shortest. The next one after that is slightly longer would be 2 metres. Then you should have written 4 metres. Then over here we've got 5 metres. Then we've got 6 metres here, 7 metres, 9 metres, and 12 metres, which we already talked about as being our longest. So well done if you got those right. Okay, here it says, which containers could you place side by side to make the distance the same length as Noah's Ark? There is only one of every container. So those are the containers that you have got there. It needs to be the same length as Noah's Ark. Now, how long is Noah's Ark? Have a think. Look at that picture. Can you see? You should be able to see that Noah's Ark is 20 metres long. So here you need to be using your knowledge of number facts to be able to add these numbers together to make exactly 20 metres. Now I want you to pause the video and have a think about how you could do that. Okay, so you should have had a go with those numbers, adding those together to try and make 20. A really easy way for me was to think of 10 is half of our 20. So if we use that to start with, we've already got 10. Then I was looking for patterns. I was using my number bonds to make up the rest of the 10. So I know that 6 and 4 is also 10. So I would have used 10 metres, add 6 metres, add 4 metres. But there are different ways of doing that. We could have added 3 numbers over here. We could have added 7 and 2 to make 9, and 1 more to make 10. Add that to our 10, and we could have made our 20 metres. There are lots of different ways of doing this. You might want to pause the video again and have a look at that using your number bonds to see if there are different ways of doing it. Okay, so Length is the distance from one end of an object to the other. Length can be measured in centimetres as well. We know this from our earlier PowerPoints. Now when you're measuring, it is really important that the start of the object is always on the 0. Otherwise your measuring is not going to be accurate. The length of the worm is 9 centimetres long. Can you see that? It starts on the 0 and the other end is at the 9, so it's 9 centimetres long. We can use the cm for short. Okay, having a look at this. So length can also be measured in metres. 1 metre is the same as 100 centimetres. How long is that snake? Okay, that snake is 5 metres long. If you want to give that measurement in centimetres, it would be 500 centimetres. So, the snake was longer than the worm, but we're now going to look at some different animals. So we're going to compare the length of the animals to the nearest metre. So, which animal is the longest, the sloth or the lizard? The sloth is 1 metre longer than the lizard. Which animal is the longest? The toucan or the tapir? The tapir is 2 metres longer than the toucan. Which animal is the longest, the crocodile or the tiger? The crocodile is 1 metre longer than the tiger. Chomp is a greedy crocodile and always will eat the greater number. So we've done lots of practicing of greater than, less than and equal to. Here Chomp eats the snake on the left because it is a greater length. So remember that crocodile's jaws is always going to open to eat the bigger number. Here Chomp eats the worm on the right because it is a greater length. It's bigger. Remember, he's eating that bigger number. What happens if they're the same length? Neither of the numbers are greater, so the symbols less than and greater than cannot be used. So instead we will use the equal sign. So when you are completing your sheets, remember that the crocodile is greedy and he always wants to eat that bigger number. If the numbers are the same, then you would use the equal sign.